National, Malacanang Press Corps. Magiging national na kayo. Anyway, the palace wishes to announce the following appointments. Inaantay ni Joseph eh. Mr. Noel Quinazo Felonco as the lead convener of the National Anti-Poverty Commission. Noel Quinazo, K-I-N-A-Z-O, Felonco, F-E-L-O-N-G-C-O. And also the appointment of Mr. Alvin San Juan Feliciano. Alvin San Juan Feliciano as chairperson of the Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor. Both appointments were signed by the President last October 31. We will provide you with the appointments after this briefing.
May question ka, Celerina?
Yes?
Microphone, please.
So regarding these new appointees, may we know the background of Mr. Filanco and Mr. Feliciano?
I have no personal knowledge in the background of these two. We will provide you with the details.
Okay,
later.
MPC questions? Rose Novenario.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, ano po yung update dun sa 6.8 billion shabu shipment sa customs? Ano po yung update sa investigation? At ano na rin po yung nangyari dun sa investigation dun sa 6.4 billion shabu rin po sa customs?
The investigation is ongoing. We have yet to receive the findings and report coming from the investigators.
Wala pa, sir, maliban po dun kay Commissioner Guerrero, wala pa pong ibang tawag dito, movement po.
Well, the movement is that the Secretary of Finance and the newly designated BOC Commissioner met last Wednesday, and the marching orders of Secretary Dominguez to BOC Commissioner Guerrero was to rid the BOC of corruption and get a monthly revenue collection of 55 billion pesos a month. That's the target.
Target collection.
Thank
Follow.
you.
Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir,
Morning.
what do you think of the proposal to privatize Bureau of Customs?
I have not thought about it, and the President has not made any comment on that. There will be a cabinet meeting tonight or at 4:45 p.m. today. Hopefully, I'll hear something about it, and we'll report to you.
Because Senate President Tito Soto, I believe, said that he's willing to draft the bill if there's a need for a further study of the proposal. You think this is a good idea, sir?
Well, Senator Soto thinks it's a good idea, and that's the function of Congress, to introduce bills and into laws, make it into laws. Let's see.
To privatize the customs instead of military control.
That's his idea. Let's see the pros and cons of that idea.
How about, sir, the proposal of Vice President Leni Robredo na mag-implement na lang ng automation, more on making the Bureau of Customs computerized to lessen the human interaction para ma-limit din yung corruption in the agency?
BOC Commissioner Guerrero is on top of the situation, and he will undertake all measures geared towards the elimination of corruption in the Bureau, as well as getting the desired collection as directed by Secretary Dominguez.
Sir, last na lang. So, sir, yung issue on privatization of Bureau of Customs, will this be discussed during the cabinet this afternoon?
Well, it's not part of the agenda. If somebody raise it up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, MPC question? Ina Andolong.
Hi, sir. Sir, can you tell us more about the lecture of the president later about illegal drugs? It's in his schedule. Who is he going to speak to?
I think somebody will discuss it We had, during the national security meeting at Lapu-Lapu, there were military men who gave us a briefing. I think that will be a repeat for other members of the cabinet to listen to the same.
So it's not the president who will be conducting the lecture because the schedule given to us is PRRD's lecture. So it's not going to be him.
Perhaps he would be making comments and annotations while the briefing is going on.
Okay. And sir, why does the president or Malacanang City need to conduct a lecture on to members of the cabinet now?
Of course, we feel that national security matters is very important other than the usual concerns of the state. And members of the cabinet have to know.
Does it have anything to do perhaps with the apparent continuous entry of illegal drugs despite government efforts to curb them since day one of the Duterte administration?
It concerns national security, so it embraces everything that is connected with it.
May follow-up question? Tina? Microphone, please. Microphone.
Sir, yung discussions on shabu, illegal drugs, and it being concern of national security, do you think it will be considered also in the talks on possible extension of martial law or expanding it from Mindanao to nationwide?
Well, as the president said, whether or not there will be a lifting or extension of martial law will depend on the recommendation of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, they being on the ground.
Sir, kasi earlier, di ba, may basis din na yung
Of course,
executive
all
order.
things will be considered.
So, is this part of the lawless violence or argument of Malacanang to
All
expand?
factors that will contribute to the decision of lifting or extending martial law will be considered.
Thank you, sir.
MPC question, Pia Gutierrez.
Hi, sir. Sir, inflation remained at 6.7% this month. Do you think that this reflects the efforts of the government to temper inflation?
I think so, considering the directives of the president supplying us with food and other measures undertaken by the Department of Finance as well as Agriculture and Trade. I think that contributes.
Sir, does the palace foresee inflation slowing down in the next few months?
Well, hopefully, it depends. Depends on the global conditions.
Celerina.
Sir, do you think the increase of this how do you call it, transport fare could somehow affect the inflation in the coming months? Tataas na naman, and there's this proposal by the commuters group na to defer muna yung pag-increase.
Let me see. The wage board has considered that.
No,
No,
not
the fare-
the wage.
the fare. The
The
fare.
fare.
Well, our suggestion at the time was for them to go to LTRB and ask that agency to reconsider. I don't know if they have done that, but they should, if they really feel that the increase in fare is too much for them.
So Malacanang supports that call by the commuters group to...
We're encouraging them to use that avenue to settle whatever differences they have.
Okay, Joseph.
Sir, just a little bit on the inflation. I'll just go back. It's the same level, no? 6.7 and then 6.7 again. Is this a good or a bad thing?
Depends on who look at it. If-
From the government side, sir, from the government perspective, 6.7.
Of course, the government hopes that it will not go up, and hopefully it should go down.
Mhm. And just to repeat the points before, what are we doing to at least, if not lower, maybe maintain the inflation rate?
Well, the same measures being undertaken by the Department of Finance and the Department of Trade, as well as the agriculture sector. You must remember that we flooded the market with food supply. That's one. And then the Department of Finance said that they will be reducing the expenditures of the government, among others.
You're also talking about the SRPs of basic commodities, yes? Right, sir. Just a little bit, sir, on the lecture of the president, because it's kind of interesting, no? It was advised to us that the president will lecture on, aside from the drug problem, also militarization. So, is he, in effect, kind of defending his choice of military men to head some government agencies?
He has been doing that all along. He has been making comments in giving rationale to his appointment to these military officers who have retired.
But now the audience is, I'm assuming it's going to be the cabinet, no?
Yes,
Why the need to talk to the cabinet?
because not all the members of the cabinet know the rationale behind.
Meaning, are there kind of misgivings from
Oh,
other?
definitely no. It's
None.
more of information to them, so that they will know how to explain when they are asked in their particular departments by reporters like you, Joseph.
Anyway, sir. But to just stress the point, of course, the president can better elaborate on it. But from your perspective, sir, why again are we preferring military men to head agencies, and have they been proven to be effective? Because, well, si La Peña, and then before him, it was Faldon, basically just rotating dun sa customs. Because apparently, do you think it's effective to place military men in these key positions?
I think so because of their military discipline. The culture of the military men are different from the civilians. They follow orders. They talk less and argue less. They just work. And they're always on the go.
Okay.
Ina.
But the president himself has said na nalasutan pa rin po yung dalawang earlier appointees niya dun
Well,
sa
yes,
POC.
but it doesn't mean that when nakalusot ka once, makakalusot ka forever.
But definitely, it was reason for the president to replace them, and then now he's appointing someone with a similar background. Isn't the president just, he's doing the same thing?
Not necessarily, because you learn from lessons from mistakes. So hopefully Commissioner Guerrero would learn from the lessons or the mistakes that the previous administration of that department has committed or has omitted.
MPC question? Sir, may tanong si Pia Reñada. PRD denies Michael Yang is his presidential economic advisor, but daw yung contract released by Malacanang Records Office show he is economic advisor to the president. Did PRRD lie?
No. Michael Yang is just one of those advisors that the president consults on a particular matter. But he just received 1 peso a year.
Okay, second question niya, what technical, may follow-up ka? Sige.
So, sir, merong appointment paper, even if it's just 1 peso a year, is there an appointment paper of Mr. Yang?
It appears from the documents that I saw, signed by Secretary Guevara and Secretary Medialdea.
When was the appointment made? Kasi before, the president said that he could not be an appointee because he's Chinese, he's a foreigner.
Oh, it's allowed if it's only a consultant.
So apparently, the president was not aware that he signed the appointment paper of Mr.
It was not he
Yang.
who signed it. It's Secretary Guevara and Secretary Penaldea.
But without the knowledge of the
Of
president.
course, it's with his knowledge.
So he forgot. The president forgot.
No, what he was saying, because apparently the the implication is he could not appoint as a consultant this particular person. That is what he was saying.
So you're now confirming that Mr. Yang is really a consultant of
Yeah,
the
one of
president.
the consultants of the president. He consults him every now and then. You know, Mr. Yang is a wealthy man. He has rose from poor origins to being a wealthy man, and he has a technical know-how how to run a business, and also because he is Chinese, he knows a lot of people in the Chinese government,
Second
and
question.
he knows the psychology of Chinese. On that aspect, the president needs people like him.
So in second question ni Pia, what technical services or expertise does Michael Yang provide to the palace that no Filipino consultant can provide?
I think that's between the president and the economic advisor. You cannot be revealing those things.
What type of sensitive information is Yang able to access given this role? Does the palace have a screening system for information Yang is able to access?
The same response.
Okay. Last question niya, how can the palace assure Filipinos that Yang is not using his role to influence Philippine policies, especially since PRRD promises an independent foreign policy?
One economic advisor cannot create policies. It's the president who creates policies.
Okay, NPC questions? No more? Julie.
Follow-up, sir, kay Mr. Yang. Sir, has there been any instance in which Mr. Yang's services has benefited the Philippine government?
That's for between him and the president.
Are you not aware of any circumstance?
Well, I've not talked to. Maybe I will ask the president tonight.
Okay, Joseph. Magla-last question na ba tayo? Hey, Joseph?
So you mentioned you've also seen documents, no? Kontrata ni Michael Yang.
No, I've seen it from the report of
Media.
Raffler.
But
Only.
not personal
No.
from the
I have not seen
from
that.
Malacanang. But you will confirm that there was an appointment, yes?
It appears. I think the better persons to respond to that are those who sign the appointment papers. They have personal knowledge.
There was a press conference with the president when he said that he could not, clarification lang, he could not contract Michael Yang as a economic advisor because he was Chinese, no? And then we have these documents saying...
I have to see the transcript and in what context he was responding to a question.
I can tell you, sir, the context. We were there.
I need
and
a
we
transcript.
asked,
I need a transcript of notes before I can correctly make any response.
but we can remember what happened during the press conference.
Memory is the most treacherous thing in the world.
Apparently, as this...
Okay, last question na tayo. Bernadette.
Sir, sa inflation lang po, does the government still see the need to roll out other measures to further ease price pressures given the steady October inflation figure, or are we satisfied with the current government measures, sir?
Well, apparently the measures undertaken by the government has affected the inflation rate, so we'll maintain that.
Sir, last na. So, good news po yung October inflation figure po at 6.7%.
Well, the fact that it did not go up should be a good news. Sometimes it's even going to 6.1 average.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. No more? O, Chona, last question.
Chona.
Sir, kagabi po, the President endorsed the candidacy of Freddy Aguilar. Dinisown na siya ng PDP laban. Does it mean that the President will endorse candidates who are not from his own political party?
From what I know, the PDP Laban has not yet released a complete lineup. So, given that, the president certainly has the right to endorse someone he feels should be endorsed.
Follow-up ba yan, Joseph?
Wait lang. Yes, sir. You were asking for a transcript. We can read the transcript. Where?
Can I see that?
Yes, sir.
I'll read it
I think
myself.
it was Henry who asked this question during the press conference.
Can I see?
Okay, so we're very quick to provide you that.
Habang nagtitingin si Sir, yung question ni Henry, microphone please. Sige, Henry.
Actually, Secretary Panelo, I was the one who asked the question during the press conference. Kung si Michael Yang ba ay inappoint niya na economic advisor. And I think he has the answers there. Anyway.
The question is, sir, may mga kumakalat ring balita na si Ginoong Michael Yang ay presidential advisor po ninyo on economic affairs. Can you clarify or confirm that? Sabi niya, no, it's not that it. So, hindi naman pala sinabi niya. So, malabo yung, it's vague. The answer was vague. It's not either nor, yes. Para may ini-explain siya. How?
Oh.
Which baba? Saan yun? Wala rito. Ano ba ito?
Joseph.
Can I?
Presidential assistant?
Where?
Secretary?
Sir, ba't ibang picture ito, sir? Yan, sir. Cannot be
Secretary?
Advisor yan siya.
Oh, di advisor nga siya. Sabi niya, advisor siya. Pero sinabi niya rin, advisor eh.
Cannot be, sir.
Oh, pero inano niya uli eh. After that, sinabi niya siya rin. Kaya, hindi, I will ask the president about this para siguradong meron tayo.
Yes. Okay, thank
accurate
you.
response.
Thank you,
So you
Joseph.
will open the...
Henry.
Anyway.
I will ask him during the break.
Anyway, Secretary, just a follow-up doon sa question ni Chona on Freddie Aguilar.
Freddie?
Yeah. Yung endorsement niya kay Freddie Aguilar last night. Hindi ho ba yun ay maituturing na paglabag sa batas ng Commission on Election, premature campaigning?
Hindi naman. He was just expressing his opinion on the qualification of the person. Hindi naman niya sinabi, boto niyo to eh. Ang sinasabi niya lang na the messages of the songs of Freddie Aguilar has social content. At magaling siya, brilliant.
Secretary, this is what the President said. Kaya ako nakikiusap, total 12 man yan, ibigay ninyo sa isang nationalist, yung isang tao na nagmamahal sa bayan. And the protest of his songs are there. Makikita na ninyo for the next generation and generations to come.
Wala siya sinabing iboto niyo yan sa eleksyon. Ano?
Kaya ngayon, sabi ko, Freddie is running for senator. Wala akong hinihingi sa inyo kung hindi just consider.
Oh.
He is a brilliant man.
Oh, consider lang pala eh. Wala naman siya.
Chana, you read.
Sir, ito sinabi niya, assistant. And may just raise his right hand. Vote for Freddie Aguilar.
Vote ba? Parang hindi yata yung
Ito, sir,
narinig ko.
transcript po official. Vote for Freddie Aguilar.
He may not be referring to an election. He may be referring to you people vote for this man as an outstanding man.
Oh, question. Nawar na? Okay, nawar na question, MPC? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Presidential
Thank you.
Spokesperson
Let's have a
Salvador
party.
Panelo. Thank you, Malacanang Press Corps.
Thank you.
Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.